Hello everyone and welcome to the Q&A for April, even though we're several days into May at this point. But to be fair, the March one came early, right? It was like before March was here, or before April was here.
Yes.
So it kind of evens out. Anyway, we're here to answer more of your questions. We've got 15 questions lined up, which is actually what we aim for every month, but sometimes we don't hit the mark. Anyway, we're going to start with the top questions. The top question comes from She Guitar 101, or Shay Guitar 101. I think I've mispronounced that several times. Anyway, have you ever been asked to stop filming somewhere or been kicked out of somewhere for filming? I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but there was one time where I was filming something in high school for a project called A Family's Revenge, and we were in a Kroger, and we didn't have permission to be there, and we were just like walking around filming stuff. And the manager came out and asked us what we were doing. And we were like, we're doing a school project. And he's like, you gotta ask for permission to film in places. And we're like, really? We didn't know that, even though we did. And he's like, we'll just call your school. Well, it turns out that day we didn't have school, and they were trying to call the school, but no one was there. And we were just like, we're gonna have them send you a letter. And they're like, okay. And we never did. So that's that story. Otherwise, no one's ever really cared, especially with the flip. Like, everything happens so fast because, like, we'll be somewhere and I'm like, I'm gonna film this. And like, do, and then we're done. So I don't know. It happens quickly. And the other question comes from tjonte, which is our buddy Thomas, who asked, what band/song got you interested in music? Don't say They Might Be Giants. They're the best and we get it. I'll let you start.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
When did you start really liking music?
I guess it depends what you call music. I started listening to the Spice Girls when they were big.
That's not music.
I know, that's what I said.
I mean, I mean, to be fair, it is music.
That was my first CD.
I mean,
Spice World.
I know the answer for me because I've talked about it a little bit, and everyone now assumes that They Might Be Giants was like
your first.
Yeah, like I grew up listening to They Might Be Giants or something, and I've always really enjoyed it. And it's actually not the case. I think I've said it before, but my parents really only ever listened to country and gospel music, so that's what I always heard growing up. And it really wasn't until I started playing the Tony Hawk games that I was introduced to music that was something other than every country song you've ever heard. So, once I started playing the Tony Hawk games, it was like, oh hey, music exists. And, I mean, it just kind of got me into different bands. And when I was about 13, I started listening to Weird Al. And, Weird Al was actually...
the only thing you listened to?
Yes, it was the only thing I listened to, but it was really useful because it brought me into different genres and things like that. Because, I mean, as great as Tony Hawk is, it's pretty much nothing but, punk, some kind of soft metal stuff, and, rock. So, Weird Al got me into other genres. So, thank you, Weird Al.
And now you like everything.
And now I like everything.
Almost.
Just about, pretty much. Not a big fan of pop, but anyway. Okay, so then we will go on. Oh wait, how did we miss that? That wasn't the other top question.
You're the one touching the iPod.
I'm really bad with the iPod. We're gonna pretend that that's a top question because it came from Thomas. Anyway, no, the actual other top question was from one nerdy guy, and he asked, Stephen, have you ever farted in front of Mal? Yes. Derp. I don't know, just kind of a... I don't want to say it's a stupid question, but I almost want to be like, come on, you guys can come up with better questions than this. The reason I picked it was because it was top rated. But everyone farts.
We're married?
We're married. I was farting in front of her earlier than that. I mean, it's one of those facts of life. I mean, you're not going to be perfect around each other all the time. You've probably seen me in some dire states.
Yesterday was one of them.
What was yesterday? I seriously, that. Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom. It was pretty terrible. Anyway, I think it's funny how I held that cup for like 4 minutes and didn't drink anything. I was like, let me tell you about the time. It's funny because that transitions into the next question. Bennyino asked, do you ever drink alcohol? No, I don't. I've never had alcohol of any sort, and
product placement.
This Q&A brought to you by Witch. No, I've never had any type of alcohol.
Ever. You need to clarify, ever.
Yeah,
it's not
ever.
that you just don't drink. You've never had anything.
Thank you, Helpy Helperton. Yeah, I mean, I never have. Mount, you have.
I've had, like, girly drinks and wine, and that's about it.
She's from Wisconsin. So
that explains everything.
That should explain that.
No, I grew up around alcohol. My family all would have beer and whatever. And
my family was made of alcohol. they were alcohol products.
I just don't drink now. I like wine, but I'm not gonna go buy bottles of wine because
you'd have to drink it alone, and that would make you the girl who drinks wine bottles by herself.
Also, I've been spoiled, and I only like good wine now.
And we can't afford that. People probably want to know why I don't drink more than just do you drink. My best reasoning for not drinking is, and I'm sure some of you will think this is stupid. I think even Mallory thinks it's kind of stupid. But I don't like the idea of altering my state of mind. And I know some people will be like, well, just don't get drunk. I don't know. It's just something that bothers me. The fact that I would do something to alter how I think, where I would not be myself, has always been one of those things that bothers me. And it's one of the aspects that I feel really strongly about. So like, you will not change my mind. Like you won't. I know your family thinks I'm strange. But that's also because your family is alcohol products and they like, drink us. Anyway, I hope that explains it. There's a guy I really look up to, I really like, named James Randi. And he actually has the same point of view. And I was like, hey, we agree on this subject. Anyway, moving on. Next question is from MathewVlog. It says, you've done this vlog for nearly 2.5 years now. Have you ever been tired of doing it? If so, what kept you going? Well, money is the easiest answer because I get paid to do this, but I don't get paid a lot of money, which is actually what MathewVlog said in like another response thing. Because the YouTube partnerships are being thrown around like crazy now. I'm not saying that he did that because he had it before that, but I don't know if you guys know this, and this is completely unrelated, but getting a partnership is like super easy. If you do videos, you'll probably be asked about monetization in your account. Look on my videos and like there will be a button that's like, you want to be a partner? Click here. Because YouTube's really rolling it out. That was unrelated. Anyway, what kept you going? As cheesy as it sounds, you guys, it's just fun. It's just really fun to film things and share aspects of my life with you guys and see your opinions and hear your comments and thoughts on things. That's actually like legitimately the reason I keep going. And also with the hopes of one day making more money to pay off the college loans, which the degree I'm getting so much use out of. The next question is from Mr. Bopper96, who asks, do you own a 3DS? I normally don't answer these kind of questions, but I wanted to throw this in here because I wanted to say no. Because we actually get asked this a lot. Do you own a 3DS? No, we don't. Do you have a plan to own a 3DS? No.
Do we want one? No.
Not really. I mean, like, I think it would be really cool to own Super Mario 3D Land, and Mario Kart 7 is probably the only games I'd really want for it. All the other games, like, not really interested. And 2 games are not going to sell a console to me. So, also, I wouldn't buy a 3DS because it's clunky as crap, and I know that they will make a new iteration of that thing. Like, it will happen. Just wait. It'll happen. As far as the consoles that we own, because we own the FC3, now we own an NES. We also have Super NES, Genesis, Game Boy Color, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, GameCube, Nintendo 64.
Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance.
DS Lights.
Yeah, DS Lights. The PSP.
Yes.
And
Xbox 360.
Xbox 360, regular Xbox.
360.
And
Wii, did you say that?
No,
GameCube?
Wii. Yeah, I said GameCube. All the Nintendo systems except the Game Boy Pocket and the Virtual Boy.
We need a Dreamcast.
And the 3DS. And the Dreamcast. I want to get a Dreamcast at some point. I don't know why. I don't know. There's some good games on it.
You want to play Sonic Shuffle?
No. Gameboy7471 asked, did you ever get detention in school?
Nope.
She knows my story.
I do know his story.
I
Had to write lines. Like, you know Bart Simpson writing lines?
I did?
You had to write lines. You've told me about that.
Oh.
I will not flip quarters in school or whatever.
That wasn't detention.
Oh.
That was in school detention, but that wasn't detention. There's only one time that I can think of. I was in trouble all the time, but my school was friggin' stupid and I didn't get along really well with the administration of my school. They didn't really
See eye to eye?
we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and a lot of times I would do stuff and it was perfectly reasonable, but it pissed them off and they took it out on me by getting me in trouble. Anyway, I won't go into a lot of the stories, but there was one time where I actually did get legitimate detention. And what I'm calling detention is something where you have to stay after school. There was this one time where we were...
Oh, I know the story now. Okay, that one.
Yeah, there was this one time where we were in a class. I don't know what class it was, but we were in this class, and the bell rang to go to the next class. And the teacher whose class we were in was like, you guys need to stay with me in this class because we need to work on this thing. And the next class was not like a real class because it was at the end of the day and it was like SAT preparation or something. So we were like, okay, because we were staying for Spanish. And you also have to understand, I went to a very small school. I went to a private school. So if any of the rules and regulations don't match up to your own, that's fine because everything is kind of like heyday, like there are no actual rules, just kind of, if a teacher tells you to stay after, you just do it. You're not like, oh, I need to report to someone.
I'm supposed to be in math.
Because in like a public school, a teacher wouldn't ask you to do that because they know they can't do that. In private school, it's just like, do this. And I was like, okay. Anyway, so we stay, me and a few of the other students, and the other students go to the next class because they're like, screw this, or they just left school because they're bad kids. And it's true. So anyway, the day ends, we had stayed in Spanish or whatever the entire time, and then we all get called to the principal's office. And like, the group of people that stayed were the good kids. It's weird because I told you how I was always in trouble, but I was classified as like a really, really good guy. So me and these other people who were good people who weren't always in trouble get called to the principal's office, and they're like, why didn't you go to class? Because, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, so-and-so told us to say. They're like, well, you have detention. And we're like, okay, that's stupid, but why and what do we have to do? And they're like, you have to do yard work. And we're like, and this is where the whole public-private school thing's going to come in, because if a public school asked you to do yard work, you'd be like, let me just get my attorneys on the phone. The private school can do that. So we had to do yard work, and they scheduled it for like the next weekend or something, the next Friday. And so that Friday, we came and we did yard work after school for like an hour and a half or something. It was ridiculous. And we had to do like hard stuff. We had to like pull weeds and bushes and do all this crap. It was hard. It was friggin' schoolwork. It was crazy. Anyway, so we do all of this stuff. And at the very end, once it's over, once we've done everything, the jackass principal comes out. I do not like this guy. The guy comes out, and
he's no longer principal.
And he's like, hey, I just want to thank all of you for your help, and you know, we really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say, you know, we talked with the teachers and got it all sorted out. We're not going to hold this against you guys, and in fact, we were in the wrong. We're really sorry about that. You know, it was definitely not your guys' fault. Oh my God, I was boiling mad. The audacity to say that to me after I had worked 90 minutes in your stupid yard. Oh God. Oh, it was not good. It was not good. And I think that was one of the starting points that fueled so much rage for the administration of that school. Anyway, that was my only detention experience. And I know it was kind of like story time with Stephen, but I thought it was worth telling. I have a lot of stories about school.
There's 2 times I had to go to the office. Once was in 5th grade when a boy stole my coat and threw it in the mud.
How'd you have to go to the office?
I don't know. They just sent us all there.
Okay, so you weren't in trouble. Keep going.
No, I wasn't. And my second one was I was sitting in physics class and the teacher got a phone call and he's like, Mallory, go to the office. I'm like, why? He's like, I don't know, go to the office. So I went to the office and it turns out I was selected for random drug testing. And
So neither time you were in trouble.
No.
So this doesn't relate to this question or my story in any way whatsoever.
I was a goody two-shoes kid.
I was. It's just the administration was stupid and didn't realize it. Anyway, I will get off of my soapbox in telling my stories. David Cortez 1 asked, will Mal do a single-player LP in the future? And if not, what co-op games do you have planned for the future? We get asked this question all the time. I'll probably never answer this again because we get asked all the time. For the most part, we will announce what LPs are coming up, like in the little box on the channel, so don't ask. This is the worst comment ever, and we get like, no, not this question, but we get about 50 of this comment every single day on various videos. Will you do insert game here? That's a terrible comment, because it has a question mark, which is like, hey Steven, you should answer this. I don't answer those anymore. I really don't. I try to respond to all the comments, but I can't answer those anymore because there's too many of them. And the thing, my answer is always possibly, because it is possible. It's possible it will happen. So don't expect a response. You can certainly write something and I'm going to look at it and be like, hey, this is yet another person that's saying we would like to see this game. And I'll take it into consideration, but don't expect a response.
You are deviating from the question.
I tend to do that. Will Mal do a single player LP in the future? Possibly. We have nothing planned right now, but possibly. Co-op games you have planned for the future? Obviously, if it's written on the channel, we have it for sure. We're going to do it. But because people really like secret, fun, hidden stuff, here is a list of games that we don't have on the channel that we are highly considering. Dead Rising 2. These are all co-op games. Dead Rising 2. Halo 2. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Resident Evil 5. Little Big Planet 2. Trine. And Goemon's Great Adventure.
I didn't even know some of those. I guess we're playing some of those games.
Sometimes she wakes up and I'm like, guess what we get to do today? Film a game. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna be doing Gears of War. She's like, what's going on? I do that to you a lot, and I apologize. Giant Rooster 64 asks, have either of you been recognized while vlogging? Actually, fun story. I've never been recognized while vlogging that I can remember until actually just last week. And I was recognized twice in 1 week, which was cool. The first time we went was when we went to Player's Choice, and the manager watches the LPs. Now, I should clarify that one. The only reason he knows that we exist is because my friend Michael, who we had met, had told him, who told his manager, who was the manager at Player's Choice, that we existed. But he had never watched the vlog, so he didn't know what we looked like. So when we went into Player's Choice, we were talking to him, and we were like, hey, we're actually, we're friends of Michael. And he's like, oh, you're Steven. And we're like, yeah. He's like, you're much taller than I imagined. And I was like, yeah, we get that a lot. And then he was like, hey, I really like your LPs. And it was like, oh, hey. So that was kind of getting recognized, but not really. But 2 days later, when we were eating at Snooki's the other day on the vlog, whatever the day that was, like 3 days ago, we legit got recognized, which was really neat. We were eating dinner, and our waitress said, hey, I know you. And I'm like, you do? And she's like, yeah. You post videos on YouTube. And I'm like, I do post videos on YouTube. She goes like, yeah, you eat at Snooki's a lot, and you really like the salmon BLT. I've watched your little documentaries. And I'm like, I was thinking little documentaries. I was like, that's a fun word for it.
That works.
Yeah, mini documentaries. I was like, yeah, that's right. She's like, you were even here for your bachelor party. You had all your friends, and you were in there, and I served you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. She's like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, yeah. I'm doing that for a living. So I film my food for a living. And she's like, yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, so that was the first time we had actually ever really been recognized. So that was neat, and that just happened. Will that happen often? Probably not. No. I mean, people that have like 1 million subscribers don't even get recognized. So. But it was neat. I wanted to point that out. KiwiVlog asked, who was your inspiration to pursue your dream in the film industry? I want to clarify that I never had a dream of pursuing the film industry. I got a video camera when I was like 12 years old. Thought it was fun to make movies with my friends. Whenever I started doing video or like website stuff at age 15, putting videos on the internet, I thought that was the best thing in the world, and if I could do that for a living, it'd be the best job ever. It turns out I'm doing that now. But I never had a dream to pursue the film industry. I went into film at SCAD, and they push you in that direction. And it was like in sophomore year when I was like, hey, I don't like the film industry and it sucks and I'm not a big fan of it and I want to do something else. So, just wanted to clarify. Drawing a Blank ESQ says, what are your nationalities? Mal?
American. My family is mostly Polish, probably over half Polish, German, and Dutch.
That means you talk like this. No, it doesn't. I'm just offended. my only Dutch viewers are just like, well, I'm out of here. Stuck around long enough. I'm getting on the road out of here. So that's Polish.
Yeah.
I don't know mine.
That's heritage, though, isn't it?
Whatever.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
Whatever. I mean,
the actual word would.
Yes, your bloodline. I don't know mine, and my family doesn't know it either, which is kind of weird. I've been told different things, and it's led to a very confusing vision of my ancestry. I've been told that my name is actually George, and my family members dropped the E way back in the day to separate themselves from those other Georges, those jerks. So it's English. And then I've been told that my name is actually Georg, and I'm German. I have no friggin' idea. But I do know that my grandmother was a McCullough. So I have I have apparently at least quarter or some part Irish. I'm a little melting pot of joy. That's the way I think of it. I think it'd be really neat to do like Ancestry.com trial and see like my
whole family tree's on there. My aunt did it.
No one in my family has, probably because everyone's confused or doesn't have electricity. Joey the Kid 101 asked, will there be any more LPs in 2012 or is the schedule full? The reason I'm answering this one is I think a lot of times the schedule confuses people. For one, if you go to the LP page, there's like a list of LPs on there and people are like, oh, that must be all the LPs he'll do in 2012. Wrong. There's actually a lot of times where games aren't even on that list and then suddenly they appear out of nowhere and you're like, this wasn't even on the list. Why is Magic the Gathering an LP? And it's like, ta-da! So that happens. I think we did the same thing with Shadow of the Colossus. It just came out of left field. So that list is not complete.
Out of left field, Crazy Taxi.
I'd love to do Crazy Taxi if it wasn't music licensing issues. I would easily do that. That's a whole separate thing, but anyway. So to kind of explain the scheduling system, if it's on that list, we're definitely doing it, although I don't know when. I put 2012 because I don't know when we're actually doing it. And if you're reading the schedule and you're like,
Google Calendar schedule.
Yeah, if you're reading the Google Calendar schedule, which is like StephenVlog.com/calendar, if you're looking at that and you're like, oh God, the vlog or the LPs run out at the end of May, it's the end of the world. Well, no, it's just we haven't figured out what's going to be there that far in the future. Is that your phone?
Yeah, that was.
Mallory's got her new fancy smartphone with the Android making noises during our recordings.
That's an email.
Whatever. Anyway, so I hope that clears that up a bit, because the schedule, there's going to be crap loads of stuff in the schedule. We do as much as we possibly can in a year. In fact, I have something planned for the summer if my body can take it, if I can actually get it out. I want to do something called Double Sunday, where 2 LPs come out on Sundays. I just think it'd be neat just for the summer while we have extra time. Even though I have the same amount of time now as I will in the summer, so it may not actually happen. Moving on. Lollipop Hoop says advice for coming out of the closet, and I paraphrased his question. It was pretty much, his question was like, I recently felt that I have attractions for the same sex and we're dating and I want to tell my parents, but I don't know how.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why'd you paraphrase it if you were going to say
it? You do not question my methods. Listen, if we had a stinking chart of who had the most fanciful diner manners, you know who would win? Don't lie. Anyway, do you want to attempt to answer that? Here's my reason for picking this question is I thought it was important. Not so much that I answer it, because I've never come out of the closet. I have been, I don't want to say fortunate enough, because I don't want to say that being straight is better than being gay, but being straight is better in the sense that you don't have to go through the ridiculous, persecution and finger pointing and stuff like that. Because being a gay is minority, is basically what I'm trying to say. So I don't have any advice from that, but I know that there's a lot of people watching this that can help you. So I wanted to bring out this question because in addition to people who are leaving their questions in the comments, I would love for anyone who has advice for coming out to give their advice, because I think that it's a big deal. I mean, it's important.
A lot of respect to do something like
it's
that.
Hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, and I have.
We have a few friends.
I have a few friends who have come out and are loving life. They really are, and it's one of those situations where some of their family and friends were super okay with it and was like, we're going to support you no matter what, and some of their family and friends were like, screw off, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And it's one of those situations where you have to realize that you are in the right by coming out, and that if someone doesn't accept you, that's their problem. I mean, you're not doing anything wrong by coming out. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. There's actually another question, we didn't answer it, but we're going to technically answer it now. And it was basically asking where we stood on like gay rights, and how we don't normally delve into politics or things like that. And I try to stay away from politics and religion as far as I can from the vlog because I want it to be really neutral. But when it comes to gay rights, equality for all. People are people. I don't want to get too far into this because I could start like
talking for an hour.
I could talk for an hour, but everyone should be treated with equal respect. These are people.
You should love who you want.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing. And anyone who says that it's a choice is, I've got words for you, sir. Anyway, but Lollipop Poop, I wish you the best, and anyone who can offer him advice, comments below. Anyway, Amstraws asks, if we skip an advertisement, does it make any differences towards how much you earn? The only reason I'm throwing this one in here is because I need to address it because it's been asked like quite a few times recently.
There was a discussion on it.
Yeah, there's like a big discussion on it, and the thing is, I don't like answering it because I don't like talking about that. I don't like talking about how much I earn. I don't like talking about how the system works, and the reason is I'm not really supposed to. I try to keep real clear of that because under contract you're not supposed to tell anyone to watch ads. You're not supposed to tell anyone to click ads. You're not supposed to tell anyone to do anything like that, and I don't, which is good, which keeps me good on the system. But I can tell you how the system works. What I will say is that if you watch 30 seconds of an advertisement, like no matter how long it is, because I know that some of the presidential candidates had like 12-minute ads, which was insane. If you watch 30 seconds of an advertisement that you can skip, no matter how long it is, the advertiser is charged. I can say that much. And the only reason I can say that is public information available to you. I'm not going to say anything else because honestly, it's hot water that I don't like to get close to, so I'd like to stay away from the pool. Anyway, my Chua, or my Kua, Miachao. I'm just having fun with the name. He made the entire journey and he sent us a letter, but I can't pronounce the name because I'm bad at that. Mallory, I'm currently enrolled in a course where we create a curriculum. Do you have to create your own curriculum for the class you teach, or are you provided with one? Also, do you have to create your own lesson plans, and if so, how comfortable are you with preparing them?
Well, I'm in a strange situation because our teacher hid the curriculum. We don't know where it is, and it's supposed to be in my room, and I don't have it. And I had emailed different people in the district saying, hey, I'm missing my curriculum, give me a new one. And
that seems bad.
I never got it. I never got another copy. But one day I had a district official in my room observing me as a teacher, and I talked to her afterwards, and she talked about what I could do different, how good I did otherwise, and whatever. And she said, well, the curriculum's on a disc now. She She said it's on a CD. I could get it to you pretty easy. I'm thinking, okay, well that should have happened a while ago because I had asked a few people. And she said, shouldn't it be in your visual arts binder? And I said, I don't remember there being any disc or anything in there. So we go open it up, and it's tucked in the back flap of the binder. And I'm like, this would have been helpful 6 months ago. And
Wow.
I think
So what did you do up to that point?
Up to that point, I was using the district mandated textbooks. I would say, I'll write the kindergarten lesson book, textbook, starts with line, and I would make a lesson based on line. And I normally followed the textbooks projects for art because they were done. I had to write them up myself and how they fit in with the standards and objectives and assessment and however. But like my kindergartners did a project where they just did vertical lines and painted them in primary colors. And I was like, okay, that's easy enough. So they did that.
Yeah. And do you have to create your own lesson plans, and if so, how comfortable are you with preparing them?
When I make my own lessons, like now.
So you do have to?
I do. I sometimes use a textbook, and if I don't like it, or if I don't have that art material, or if my students can't handle having that art material, I change it. For example, if there's a certain grade level that just shows me they can't handle paintbrushes that day, they'll do it in color pencil. And I write that in the lesson.
You lose.
No, it's not that. I write that in the lesson. I talk about how it's an alternate material. Or, I'm pretty comfortable writing my own lesson plans. Right now we have a Dr. Seuss field day, which is going to be really great. And,
Would you do it with a moose? Would you do it on the loose?
Can I talk?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And so, the related arts team, which is, music, gym, and art, decided we would do Dr. Seuss lessons building up to Dr. Seuss field day. So I made up my own lesson plan about Dr. Seuss, and my kids had to create a Dr. Seuss character and name them. We were doing Walk It in My Pocket, so they had to do a rhyming name in a rhyming place. They turned out pretty good. But I like making my own.
It's fun for you?
Yeah. It's not like a hobby. I tend to do them at the last minute.
Our last question, I'm going to hurry because we are almost out of tape, is from Little Crow 18, who asked, what is life like as an editor? You create all this content every day and haven't got burnt out from it yet. I just wanted to throw in, because I talked about this in some other question, that it's hard as crap, and different days are harder than other days. And the reason is, because of what I do, especially with the video game stuff, I can work ahead, which is awesome. I can do a month's worth of content at a time and have it ready to go. In fact, I've done that before, and it was awesome. It was like the best month ever. But then there's other times where you're doing it day by day. Right now, I'm doing it day by day, and I'm trying desperately to get caught up, but there's just so much going on, and it's one of those things that it's just a very hectic life. That might not be like that for every editor, but for me, who's doing their own projects, sometimes it's awesome, and sometimes it's just a big pain in the butt, because you're like, okay, I'm gonna catch up on vlogs today, but oh my god, I gotta record all this crap tomorrow, and then it's like, oh, but now I have all this other stuff to do, and
we gotta do a Q&A, and we gotta open mail.
Yeah, because, even though you're doing all this work, which is one thing, because work never stops, like, real life stuff's going on too, so it becomes hard to balance that sometimes. Anyway, that's going to be it for this Q&A, and we got like 40 seconds. That's going to be it for this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching.
New comments below. Thumbs up cool ones. We'll answer the cool ones.
Thank you, Mel. And yeah, that's it, pretty much. Leave your questions for next month. We will get back to them at the end of May. Is that where we're in? May? Wow. May, man. She's going to be done with school soon, and then we'll both be just chilling.
You won't.
No, I won't. I'll be working.
I'll be chilling with my host, Carl.
What you'll be doing is distracting me. I'll be working and all I'll hear is, hoo-ha, foos roda. That's gonna suck.
I'm sworn to carry your burdens.